Hey friends, I thought I'd show you how I mix up some custom metallic paint. And I have this stone that I'm working on, and I'm struggling to find something that is the right color to go with this kind of peachy coral color. And I used an Arteza color here on this orange, and it's too orange. So I thought I'd just try making my own color. And I've got these mica powders that I ordered on Amazon that came in like 24 pack, and they're pretty decent. I'm gonna try mixing these three colors together and see if I can get the color that I want. And I've got a piece of palette paper here. This is just a piece of paper that has kind of a waxy finish on it. I think you could use freezer paper if you have that instead. And I have got a palette knife, and I got these two items at Dick Blick. I'm going to use gloss heavy gel from Liquitex, and then I'm going to use some pouring medium once I get that mixed up and see if I can get the consistency that I want. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out some of this mica powder, and it's very messy and the particles are really fine, so you would be safest to use a mask when you're doing this. I'm just gonna use my palette knife. I'm gonna get a little bit out. I don't need a ton because I'm gonna be using these probably three colors together. And that is a dusty pink. It looks very fuchsia to me, and that is totally cool. And I'm also gonna put some of this orange in here, and we're just gonna mix these up and see how they look together. And the challenge here is, you don't know exactly what color you're gonna have until you get it wet. So I'm just gonna do my best to get it as close as I can, and then I'll put in some of the heavy gloss gel and see if we can get it to the right color. And it seems as though when you're doing that, when you're just adding the gloss gel to it, you can still play around with the color a little bit once you get it wet with that, so that you can adjust it if you need to. But if you can get it on the first try, that's probably the best thing to do. So you can see that that's turned it more of a rose color instead of a fuchsia. So let's put a little bit more orange in here and see how we do. And I'm just using the palette knife to really mix it up as best as I can. And now that's giving me kind of a coral color. But it's not exactly where I want it. So I've got this copper too, which is kind of a brown. So let's see what happens when I put some of that in there. It's kind of a gold brown. Let's see where that goes. And I'm not using very much pigment here because I don't need a lot. And although I'm gonna save this and use it, again, I'm sure, you don't need very much to put this together. So I think that's a pretty nice color. And looking at it with my stone, it's a lot lighter. The paint on my stone is a lot lighter. But let's see what happens here when we do this. Put a little more of the copper in there. I think that looks pretty cool. It's kind of like a rose gold, sort of. And that's fun. So let's do a little bit more. Let's put some more orange in. These mica powders I got on Amazon, I'll link in the description. They weren't that expensive. I want to say they were like maybe $17 for a pack of 24. And the reason that I bought them and decided to experiment with this is that I was having a really hard time finding metallic paints in the right color. They just, it's kind of limited. And when I would try mixing metallic paints together to get the shade that I wanted, that was just always kind of a disaster. So I think this looks really cool, but I'm worried that I don't have enough mica powder, so I'm just gonna build a little bit more of this color together. so that I feel like I have enough. A bit more pink. Just make sure you incorporate everything together really well. That looks really pretty, but it's a little too orange for me, so I think I'm gonna do a little bit of more pink. All really incorporated. When I was doing this, I realized that I really like working with a palette knife. It's kind of fun. I'd never done that before. I'm just gonna get all my mica powder right in the middle there. And I dig it. I'm all about it. So now I'm gonna take some of this gloss medium, the gloss heavy gel. And this, when you add it, you just need like a blob. Like that's probably too much. This is just going to suspend, when you hear the term suspension in any sort of liquidy product, this is just gonna suspend all of that mica together and combine it. Ooh, that's pretty. Kind of an orangey rose gold. So now I'm making kind of a paste, and I might add a little bit more of that gloss medium. Oh, that's really pretty. It's like a really bright rose gold. Love it. I'm gonna make sure I got all that. So I'm gonna take a little bit more gloss medium. And again, be judicious with this because we're gonna thin this even more using the pouring medium. And this is just to get it all to stick together and hold together. I tried a couple of different products, and this is what is really working well for me. So I'm just getting all the lumps out that I can with the palette knife, which is very fun and satisfying. And then I'm gonna take out my gloss medium, or my pouring medium, and I'm gonna do just a little bit at a time. And I don't know if you can see on camera, but this is where it gets really fun because it starts to get even shinier. And you can really see the color. So I think I dig this. Yeah, it's like a rose, kind of an orangey rose gold. I like that a lot. And looking at my stone that I'm working on here, I think this is gonna be a lot darker than that. So I'm gonna grab some white and we'll see what happens when I do that. Just add a little bit of white to make it just a smidge lighter. That was way more than I wanted. Ooh, that white's really sparkly. And when you use this gloss gel, this is what is going to give you those kind of plump dots that are so fun to work with. Okay, so I am digging that. I think it looks really cool. I hope you can see that okay. I'm going to put a little bit more pouring medium in. I'm just gonna make sure that I've got all the lumps out. I'm trying not to make too many bubbles. I hope you can see that, it's really pretty. I'm just gonna keep adding pouring medium until I get, everything gets a little softer. And you can see that it's shimmering. And one thing I've noticed, and I don't know what this is about, I assume it's something to do with how the medium works, but it has like a blue undertone, like this has a blue undertone, and as it dries, it becomes clear. So that can sometimes kind of screw me up when I'm looking at stuff to try to figure out like what I need more of. That is really pretty. Just gonna keep adding pouring medium. Okay, so I've got that really nice and mixed. This is still too thick for what I want to do with it, which is dotting. So at this point, you can quit if you want a heavier body metallic, or you can, I'm going to transfer this to a container, and then I'm going to add the pouring medium that way. It's just a little bit easier for me, a little less messy. So I'm going to pause and do that. All right, so I've got a little container here, and I got these on Amazon. It was like, I don't know, $20 for 100 or something, which of course makes me just want to buy or make more paint. So I'm just getting as much off of there as I can, and I'm just going to continue to add the pouring medium. And I'm going to use a silicone stir stick, which is not my favorite for metallic because it's kind of hard to get it off, but this is the best way to do it without making a gigantic mess everywhere. Pretty. So I'm going to keep adding pouring medium until it is the consistency that I want. And then once you get done with, when you get it to where you want, I would let it sit for a while because there's going to be bubbles in here. And even if it doesn't look like there's bubbles, you're going to put it on your project and you're going to be really mad because when it starts to dry, you're going to see those bubbles that you didn't know were there, which is maddening. Okay, that is getting pretty close. So that is how you make your very own metallic paint. So easy and fun. I hope you do give it a try.